How are you, Greg?
I am very well. All right, I'm good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we want to we have an incredibly special guest. I know I say this all the time here at Wall Street Silver. We have Greg Mannarino. This is incredible because a year ago or 2 years ago, when I was just in the car industry before any of this, Greg, I used to watch you on YouTube, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm even talking to you. So it's
Oh, cut it
incredible.
out.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. We also have Jim Lewis and Lee Justo here, so they're from the Wall Street Silver community. We have some questions for you right off the bat. Greg, who wants to start? Jim, Lee?
Jim, why don't you start?
Okay, I'll go first. Thank you for being here, Greg. We really appreciate it. We posted a topic in our Reddit community at Wall Street Silver. We have 40,000 members, and they knew who you are. So we got a lot of questions here. The first one I'm going to start out with is from Stonk Brothers 2021. Greg, I've been a follower for 10 years. Is there a chance you're going to change your hairstyle again? I remember OG Greg with long, dark, curly hair.
Well, there's always a chance. You just never know what look, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. See, look, what people don't understand about me, maybe they do. I don't know. When I do my video blogs, I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth at any moment. I don't know what I'm going to even say. I kind of just sit here, okay, where am I going to start? Let's talk about the market, blah, 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 blah. And then I just go off. Sometimes I really do go off. So I have no idea. Yeah, sure, I could change my hairdo or tattoo my face. I don't know what I'm going to do from the next minute to the next. It's really true. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we do have more questions here from our Redditor. One of them is, clearly the Fed has been doing a lot of jawboning lately, and you have never been hesitant to call them out on it. Do you foresee them doing so against precious metals and crypto as they seek to establish the digital dollar, Greg?
You know, well, the Fed speaking out against, let's say, cryptocurrencies, I would believe, sure, why not? They might do that. I don't think it's going to affect the darn thing. I really don't. It's about regulation. If they're going to regulate it, then we're in trouble. But I don't even see that coming down the pike. I mean, I'm a holder of this stuff. Most of you probably know that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it. I don't believe they're going to regulate this stuff. So I will continue to hold it until I get that wrong. I've been right for a very, very long time. So I'm just going to sit back and take it in. I mean, let them say what they want to say. We know what their end game is. Right now, they have one goal, and that is to inflate. Let them do this. Let's all sit back and watch them inflate, buy it all, do what they got to do. We take advantage of the market from every angle that we possibly can. That, of course, that includes cryptocurrencies. So for now, like I said, I'm not going to change my perspective. I'm a massive bull on cryptocurrencies. In fact, I think I'm more bullish today than I've been in a very long time. I have no plans on changing that perspective until, again, they maybe start regulating this stuff. But I don't see this at this particular time. And when and if that happens, we'll address it at that point. For now, just keep holding, just keep buying. That's my take on it.
Now, do you think you said you don't believe they're going to regulate, but you're just going to let them inflate? But how can the Fed sort of have it both ways, where they just keep printing massively trillions of dollars and not let this get out of control? If we do let the inflation start, they don't really have the capacity to raise rates because there's so much debt. The government can't afford it. How do they have it both ways?
Well, are you referring to the cryptocurrencies again?
No. I'm talking about you. You were talking about the Fed strategy of inflating.
Oh, the Fed. I was talking about the Fed strategy.
I think is the Fed in a trap where they just can't raise rates now?
No, when I was talking before, that was referring to cryptocurrencies and the Fed strategy against it. But no, the Federal Reserve is going to continue to inflate and by design dissolve the dollar in its current form. I sincerely believe they already have a new dollar ready to roll out, fully digital. It's all about control. That's the environment we're in. It's not going to change whatsoever. And again, look, they need to allow and even foster a crisis or multiple crises as we move forward here. I mean, we're watching one unfold. We got this issue with the bond market. It's gone crazy since Powell, Yellowstone over there, opened up his pie hole and started saying, okay, I see an inflation spike coming. And, since that time, the 10-year yield has taken off. Look, the arch enemy of the debt market here is inflation. And he knows that. Anybody with a brain, one cell that functions, would realize that. And he obviously has more than one cell that functions. I don't believe a damn thing comes out of his mouth or a Fed president's mouth that is not well thought of in advance. So for him to come out here and say, okay, we're going to have an inflation spike. He knew 1,000,000,000% for a fact that the debt market was not going to like that and that 10-year yield was going to spike. This was done on purpose. They want to create turmoil in the debt market so they have a reason to issue more control over the debt market. And in my view, there's two ways they can do it right now. They're already talking about it, yield curve control, and they're talking about some new version of Operation Twist. This is what they're going to do. One or the other or both. I have no idea. But the Fed is going to keep doing this and allow issues to manifest themselves so they can do something about it. Problem, reaction, solution. It's always the same. It will never change.
Well, that leads into a question. Well, hold on, Lee. I have one question that follows up on that exactly. One of our Redditors, The Golden Future, his question is, do you expect when the Fed does do yield curve control, will it be officially announced? Or they seem to, in their Fed meeting minutes, to really not want to announce it. And where would that be in terms of the 10-year Treasury, where they are forced to take action? Around 2%, higher, lower?
These are great questions. Let's start off at the beginning here. I think the Fed has already been testing this. They did it with the 10-year yield last week. It was very strange to me to see the action in the 10-year yield. They didn't move. It was frozen. And I was like, why is this happening? It just doesn't make sense. There must be a direct force acting against it. And I think that was the Fed just testing that if it would work. And of course it will work. So with regard to, are they going to announce it? I think they're going to have to, because it's going to be too obvious. Like, for example, I believe that they were doing it. People are going to just be able to look at the yield curve and see it more or less fixed. What they're going to do is pick targets along the entire curve. Okay. They're going to say, okay, we want the yield for this part of the curve, this part of the curve, that, this part of the curve, this, and then however they want to work it. And then they're going to make it happen by getting into the debt market and buying and or selling bonds, obviously. So we're going to see, again, I always watch the 10-year. It's the one I watch all the time. If you see that 10-year yield not moving or staying in a very tight range, this has gone completely contrary to what we've seen lately, all this movement all over the place. So there's the Fed's in there. They can't hide this. And they, of course, can keep it off balance sheet. The Fed has two balance sheets. I think we all know that by now. The one that we're allowed to see has gone parabolic already. There's secondary balance sheet that no one's allowed to see. They could do whatever they want there when no one can look at it. But we're going to know. People who watch the debt market enough, like myself, are going to be able to say, boom, there it is. So what's the target? I'll tell you, it depends on a few things. It depends on a lot of things, but mostly I think it's going to depend on the dollar. Again, the market, in my view, can tolerate a higher 10-year yield, for example, if the dollar is weaker than it is now. The market doesn't like this stronger dollar scenario with the 10-year yield sitting where it is, about 1.6 last time I looked at it. Now, if, for example, the Federal Reserve were able to pressure the dollar, and I think they're going to, the dollar gets weaker, well, the 10-year yield can rise and the market still may be okay with it. Okay. And the market will be more okay with it if the market realizes, hey, the Fed is actually going to do this. And the market is a strange animal. It constantly needs to be reminded over and over again that, okay, we got your back. The Fed's got your back. The Fed's got your back. It's a weird scenario. You can't just hear it once. Like, I hate when people repeat themselves to me, honestly. I like to just say what I got to say and it's done. Now, with the Fed, no, the market wants to hear it every day. If it possibly could hear a new Fed creature every day and say, okay, we're going to take care of you, the market would just love it. So that's the scenario. Again, a target on the 10-year yield, I think it's very difficult to pick, and it depends on what the dollar is doing. It also has, believe it or not, depends on what crude oil is doing. All these things kind of play together. But if I had to pick the top two, you got the debt market really in almost a balancing act in a kind of a way, depending on where the dollar is and that 10-year yield. There's a relationship between these two things that is easy to understand if you can realize that, like I said, a weaker dollar would allow the market to accept a higher 10-year yield. Now, just real quick while we're on that topic, because a lot of people have been asking me this question, so I'll just cover it right now. So where's going to be the right spots to be in? Let's say if the Federal Reserve does issue a yield curve control, I would say the financial sector as a whole. I say banks are going to do really well if the Fed fixes the debt market at a certain point. So, and also I think we're going to see another phenomenon occur that's going to be absolutely incredible. I think we're going to get a multiples expansion in the market. Sorry. We're going to see investors that are going to freak out, and they're going to say, okay, I'm now going to be willing to pay more for a stock XYZ than I was before. So the stock market's going to respond in a very, very positive way. It's a setup, especially if the Fed can power that dollar down. And I think they're going to. This is just, a means to an end right now. That's how I see it.
What an incredible answer.
Lee?
Sure. Greg, I have a question on yield curve control. Do you foresee maybe the Fed inverting the yield curve just to kind of tank the market so that they can come back and justify yield curve control?
Inverting the yield curve, that's not a good sign for people like that want to buy into this market. So, we had that issue for a while. We had that inverted curve for a while. And, I don't know how long you've been following my work, but I had said that would happen at one point. I was laughed at and ridiculed. Oh, we're going to get no, Greg, you're an idiot. Well, guess what? It did actually happen, as we all know. But, no, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they don't even need to at this point anymore. What they want to do, in my view right now, is allow that 10-year yield to rise further and hit the stock market a little bit, because they want to raise fear. They want people to be afraid. They want people to call for it. They want to say, okay, you know what? The Fed better do something. Yeah. Get in here and start rigging that yield curve. Start, implementing yield curve control. And then the market's going to get all giddy on it. That's really how I see it. They've already played that card. We all watched how it played out. And, it didn't go totally nuts, but again, actually look at the state of affairs that we are in. We have an economy that's pretty much dead. We have a stock market, today the Dow hit a new intraday record high. It's insane. What we're seeing, it really is bizarre. So I think the Fed is just going to, allow some more issues to occur here in the debt market and pressure stocks a little bit. They don't even have to pressure the market that much, because people are so on edge right now. They're so expecting a big crash. I mean, there's a lot of guys out here calling for a big crash, and they've been doing it for the longest time. And I've been telling everyone, no, this market's going higher. Okay, there will be a point when they will be right. But I think the Fed just needs to create a little bit of fear. That's it. Maybe get a couple of 1,000-point drop in the Dow before investors are going to start begging for the Fed to institute yield curve control. There's a lot of fear here, and there's a lot of greed too, but fear is always stronger, no doubt about it.
Can we go back to crypto just for a second?
Okay.
The Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle, from what I understand. Do you foresee maybe precious metals kicking up as the bear market cycle kicks in on crypto?
Well, I don't see a bear market on crypto coming anytime soon. I think it's volatile. I mean, when we see cryptocurrencies take wild swings, it's normal. It's normal because, I mean, it's the way they trade. Okay. Everything has the way, the market cap of these things isn't, I mean, it's big. It's gotten huge lately, but still they're thinly traded. if you compare it to, let's say, I don't know, like Microsoft or like Apple or a big corporation like that. So you're going to expect these kind of wild swings in there. I really did want to see Bitcoin fall further. And I had said it on my blog when it hit, what was it, 50,000 or so. I said, I want to see this stuff pull back. I even warned people. I said, you might want to stop thinking about pulling profits.
And those are in provinces.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm sorry, I had noise here. I stopped it. Go, please continue.
Oh yeah. So I would like to have seen it fall further, honestly, but it didn't, and that's okay. We know who's buying this stuff at 27 grand. It was incredible. We got a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon. So look, I don't even think about it. All I know with regard to cryptos is I feel like it's going higher and probably much higher. With regard to metals, unfortunately, we have a big player in here that's rigging the metals market. They've been caught rigging. In fact, I talked about it today in my video blog. Almost 6 months ago to the day, we had JP Morgan pay a huge fine. What was it? Over 900 million, 900 and something.
920.
And they're still doing it. I mean, they're not going to stop doing it. Everyone knows who's doing it. It's common knowledge. But again, right now the environment is risk on with regard to equities, and it's going to stay that way. Even if we get a drop in this market because of that turmoil in that debt market, look, I'm attacking this market from a different way than I used to. I've now switched my own trading strategy. I used to, get in here and constantly buy calls. Now I'm selling options onto the market. I'm selling puts. I'm setting up credit spreads to try to take advantage of it because, I know, first of all, I'm getting old, so I don't have the nerve I used to. No, it's really the truth. I'm 55.
You look young, man. Don't say that.
Stuff gets to you after a while. You're sitting here in front of your computer, your eyeballs want to fall out of your head sometimes. And I'm kind of like maybe, getting more mellow and worldly in my old age. I don't know. But anyway, the metals, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, are going to remain under pressure until they don't, until this risk off on environment becomes risk off. And again, I don't even think about it. I honestly don't think about the price action of gold and silver because it's not real. There is no price discovery whatsoever. So when I see metals drop, I say, okay, you know what? This is a buying opportunity. I've been buying this stuff for so long, it's not even funny. And I think I started buying silver at $6.
Wow.
I remember those days.
Yeah, at like $6. And gold was, I don't even.
It was like $300-400.
No, I didn't start buying gold till maybe it was higher. Maybe.
Okay.
Are you talking physical silver and gold?
Physical gold. And I also own platinum and palladium too. I own all this stuff. So I don't think about it at all. People say, oh, Greg, this, that, and the other thing. But I really don't. Honestly, I don't even think about crypto. When I'm holding cryptos, I'm holding metals, I honestly don't even care what they do from a day to day to a week to week or even a month to month. I'm planning on holding these things for as long as I can until this whole thing flips around. So that makes my life easier. At the same time, I say, okay, that's my perspective on it. I don't even think about it. I just want to own these things, and I know why. Why am I holding these things? Because central banks around the world are inflating on a scale that we've never seen. And you must take the opposite side of that trade. So to me, taking the opposite side of that trade is owning physical gold, physical silver, platinum, palladium, and cryptocurrencies. I honestly put them, I know I've taken so much hate for this and I don't even care what people say anymore. I really don't care. They can say what they want to. I put the cryptocurrencies in the same basket in many ways as I do physical gold and silver. I really, really do. And I've been right on it, and I'll be right until I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'll let you all know. Till that point, I'm just not wrong.
I have two quick questions. One of them, Greg, is can I have your Camaro? That's one of the questions.
God.
And another question is, what do you foresee coming out of the Basel III meeting and its impact on precious metals?
Well, all right. That'll bring us back to what I mean. Look, the rigging in the metals market, no matter what they want to do here, it's going to continue. And I say embrace it. Embrace every second of it. If you are a metals investor, never lose track of why you are holding it. That's why I don't look at it. I understand what's going on. We understand the jawboning, the rigging, what's going on. Who cares what comes out of that meeting? I don't care at all. It doesn't faze me because I look at this whole thing from who's in control. this meeting or that meeting isn't going to make any difference. It's the central banks. They will do what they want when they want to with the aid of the Wall Street banks and other banks around the world too. So who cares what comes out of the meeting? I won't even pay attention to it. Honest to God, I will not even think about it. All I will know is I will continue to hold my metals. I haven't bought metals in a while. I used to buy every single month. Boom, without exception. Every month I allocated funds into buying them. But you have to keep this stuff somewhere too. You sometimes can run out of space. And I have had, like I explained to you, I've been buying this stuff for a really, really long time.
You're running out of space?
You
can store some here. You can store some here if you want.
I know. But the truth of the matter is you need a place to keep this stuff. You can't keep it in your house, quite obviously. I mean, maybe you should keep some around. But you got to find places to store this stuff, places that you trust. So I buy a lot of my metals from AppMax, for example. I've been buying them for years. So, they'll hold your metals for you. And if you buy enough of it, they'll even give you phenomenal deals on. You'll get deals that no one else will get.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate enough to be on the receiving end of that because, like I said, I've been buying from these people for a very, very long time, but I haven't added to my physical stack in a while. I'm not saying I won't, but I just haven't. So, I mean, it's part of me getting older too. You know what I mean? I guess I got to start thinking about my future, wherever it might be. I don't know.
Hey, my turn. We have a question from our Redditor, Frankie416. Greg, the market's going crazy. With the volatility on whether yield curve control is coming or not, should I be holding leaps on my miners through this all? I know they might dump a bit, but I don't want to miss out on a possible squeeze on silver.
You could. I think that might be a way to attack it. It definitely wouldn't be a bad way to attack it if that's what you like. A lot of people have that same question with regard to the miners and stuff. And I think that's probably a good way to play it, honestly. I don't mess with these things. I really don't. I'm mostly like when I'm trading anything, anyone that follows my work or my newsletter, I'm always putting out like large cap companies, large caps. I like large cap companies, large cap stocks, blue chips, stuff like that. If I'm looking to sell puts, like for example, now on anything, I'm looking at large cap companies. I've looked up setting up credit spreads, also large cap companies. Why? There's many, many reasons for this. Number one, I want to own some of these large cap companies that pay a dividend in this environment. Okay. So what does that allow me to do? I can be selling puts onto the market or setting up a credit spread, getting paid to do that while at the same time collecting the dividend. I mean, you want to talk about a way possibly the best way to trade in the history of the world without having that much volatility in your account. That's me. That's all I've been doing lately. And that's what I plan on doing for a very, very long time. So yeah, sure. You can play the miners like that. I like that. I think it's a good play. But for me, I just can't bring myself to trade them or even own them at this point. I'm not saying it's a bad spot to be in. So, but for me, what works is like I just explained, owning large cap companies, collecting the dividends on them, and then trading around them. That's just the way I'm operating lately. And who knows? I really just like I could change my hair, I could change that too at any moment. And who knows? Maybe I'll just start freaking out and do something crazy. I don't know.
Lee, do you have another question for Greg?
Sure. Talking about the Fed, you always say that their end game is to own and control everything.
Yeah.
And we're looking at this whole great reset that Klaus Schwab and crew has spoken about. In that end game, when they own and control everything, and they force us all onto the digital dollar, how do you foresee the role of gold and silver in that type of world? I mean, do you see like an underground market where people are buying and selling goods and services using precious metals on the side, or some other way of playing it out?
Man, I wish people would do it now. What are people waiting for? If someone wanted to buy my Camaro that I got for sale on eBay right now, I would certainly take gold, silver. Some guy said, "Hey, Greg, would you take Bitcoin?" I wrote, "Absolutely." Did it write back to me? No. I mean, it's the craziest thing. I I personally don't have to transact in dollars. Absolutely. Why don't we start all transacting in other things? Maybe that would make our lives better, honestly. But the system is always going to be rigged in their favor, their control. They want us to, transact in their product. So we should be doing the opposite of that. I mean, honestly, what would be wrong with, I don't know, buying stuff with silver or gold if you could, or Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency? I'm sure that there are other guys out there that would accept that as payment. I know I would for everything.
I sure would.
Yeah, I mean, come on, they don't want us to do it, and most people are not going to do it. It's if you look at the amount of people who are actually holding, let's say, cryptocurrencies or holding gold or silver, it's a fraction of us. It's only those of us who are smart enough to understand why, again, it always goes back to why we are doing these things. And most people, they're clueless. They have no idea what's going on. They believe all this stuff is just happening. It's just, it's just bad luck. It's just happening. Well, this all hell bad luck. No, none of it is bad luck. It's all been thought out before. We're not living in present time. If you follow my work, I say this all the time. This has all been thought out. They're just stringing us along here. And unfortunately, or fortunately, this presents us opportunity. Or opportunities everywhere. Every day I get up and I say, okay, Greg, where's the opportunity? Well, I think we've outlined it here. All the stuff that we've talked about is opportunity. And that's really the spots where people should be looking at.
Now, Greg, do you see a crypto gold and silver backed digital dollar that will sooner or later rule all?
No.
No.
That won't allow that. They won't allow it. The central bank's power resides in one thing, and that is their ability to issue debt. They will never stop doing this. We fought wars to manifest this petrodollar debt-based system. In some ways, I mean, if you want to go crazy here, you could say the dollar is backed by crude oil because you got the petrodollar system. So is it already commodity backed? I don't know. It's an arguable point. I personally, the petrodollar is what keeps this whole thing together. So I really don't know. I don't think we're going to end up with anything gold backed ever again. It would allow the people to have power, and they don't want us to have any power. All they're doing is trying to steal power away from us and gain more control. So unfortunately, no. And most people wouldn't even want to do it anyway. The people are happy in their little boxes that they've been put in by the mainstream media and everybody else. They love it. They love it there. You try to pull them out of it, or they hate your guts for it. You try to tell these people one syllable of truth, they think you're Satan himself. They think you're the devil. They don't want to. And the people have been brainwashed and dumbed down and programmed, or whatever the word, whatever you want, into this thing, into an alternate reality that they believe is real. We're very rare people. People watching this right now, pretty rare. You and me, all of us here, pretty rare people, honestly.
Wow. Jim, you got another question for Greg?
Yeah. So this is a big question. Europa 3962. He says, when we finally get to this collapse in the bond market, equities, real estate, student, auto loans, revolving credit, what do you think the political consequences will be of that collapse? Will we have possibly a Bastille moment where the people responsible for the predictable collapse will be held accountable? And I didn't write this, and justice served for all the destruction the bankers and elites have caused. Is there going to be a Bastille Day moment where the elite get strung up?
I wish there would be. But unfortunately, no. People are just going to go along with it. They're going to believe it's all, this just happened. It's just, no one foresaw this coming. No, nobody did. Bullshit. I mean, come on, we all see the writing on the wall. But look, this is going to happen in a moment of their own choosing. They're inflating this debt market beyond belief. They're going to rig the debt market for as long as they possibly can, issuing a new system. There's going to be, again, we're going to go from crisis to crisis to crisis, engineered so they can bring about whatever system they want. I sincerely believe we have a one world government right now. I think we do. It's the banks. They're controlling our every movement. They're buying everybody off. Corruption, and not just here in the United States, but around the world. It's a sad state of affairs we're witnessing here on a global scale. And unfortunately, most people are going to get caught completely off guard. And for someone to write a question like that shows me that they're actually thinking. They actually have a brain. They understand that, and they're hopeful that maybe something like this would happen. I am too. But there's too much power involved. Governments have now become corporate entities in bed with the corporations and the banks. It's hard to discern who is who anymore. In fact, it's all one and the same. I was saying just recently in a video, you want to see the real members of Congress? They're called Fed presidents. It's not the freak show that we watch every day. So unfortunately, I think things are going to get worse, and we're going to go from another crisis to a crisis after that until they end up fulfilling what they set out to do, which is to own it all, own the world. We already transact into their product. They're using all their tools. They have one tool, that is debt. And it's a sad state of affairs. Look what they've done to us all. We're locked up in our houses. We're forced to wear diapers on our faces. They're making fun of us. I mean, seriously, it's an unbelievable scenario. They actually shut down the global economy. Who has the power to shut down the global economy? Well, it's the banks. It's the central banks around the world. They're the ones that did this. And we're living under their rule, and they are dictating what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. Oh, you got vaccinated? Fantastic. You can have a small meeting in your house now. You're allowed to do that, just in case you were wondering. They're dictating everything. And they want to see what they can get away with, because they can do anything they want, because most of the people, and I have a window here, they're all the dumbed down zombies that I've been speaking about now for over a decade. And they're out there right now, and they're thinking, oh, I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm so scared of this. It's the truth. I mean, come on. It's insane. I want to choke some of these people if I could.
Now, Greg, I have a personal question. Do you see another war coming? We talked about the petrodollar and it's staying, basically that's a commodity. Do you see another war coming?
Of course there's going to be a war. There's always a war or a skirmish or something else going on. They'll use whatever mechanism they got to use to prop up the crude oil. Look what they just did. They had, Saudi Arabia, I think, just got one of their oil facilities attacked. What a shock. Oh my goodness. I even said this might happen recently in the video. Mm-hmm. And the fact that crude oil reversed today and went lower, I was like, oh no. Wait, here's going to be another one. They're going to prop up crude oil. I mean, crude oil, in my view, has no bearing on reality right now. Its price action is stupid, and they must keep it propped up to keep the market propped up. The stock market is dependent on it. People don't realize that. The energy sector as a whole, the financial sector, dependent on crude oil being high. Period. The end. If crude oil were to crater and stay down for any long period of time, the market's going to going down with it. They're not going to allow it to happen. So I don't know. People could have taken advantage of that. Me personally, I didn't, believe it or not. I told you, I'm taking the easy route. For me, this is the way that keeps me sane, my new way of looking at the market and trading it at this particular time. I think it's almost it's an invincible way. And with I mean, you almost can't lose unless the market goes real south on you. Then, of course, you can lose. But then you can close all these positions. That's the beauty of it. You're in control. I always say a trader is on top of the money. You want to be on top of the money. Why does your boss, like if you work for a company, make more than you? Because he or she is closer to the money. Your boss's boss is closer to the money. When you're a trader, you're on top of the money. It doesn't go through any hands. So that's why I like being a trader here. Anyway, I'm not saying everyone should be a trader, because you'll end up nuts like I am. But anyway, but that's...
Lee, do you have any more?
Yeah, Greg, I'm curious on the. It kind of seems like the Fed's fighting against itself by suppressing the precious metals price, because they want inflation, but they're keeping the price of precious metals down, and I think maybe that's having an effect throughout the economy. What are your thoughts?
I think they've been deliberately suppressing the price. For years, so they can acquire it. They want to get this stuff as cheap as humanly possible. Look, Most people, in fact, every person that I know that has any net worth, okay, I'm talking about people that are well off and people that are wealthy, all of my friends, all of them that are in that kind of a situation own gold, physical gold, own physical silver. It's just the people out there who are struggling which is the vast percentage of the population that don't own this stuff. And it's a crazy situation. So they're going to keep suppressing it. And I say, good, let them do it. Because look, there's no doubt. We know central banks hold this stuff. Central bankers themselves, they own it too. The rich are holding it. Anyone who's got any money is at least allocated to a certain percentage of their portfolio in precious metals. If they don't, I think they're out of their freaking minds. I also think people need to have an allocation in cryptocurrencies as well. You got to be diversified. You got to be into a lot of things. What I don't like is when I hear someone is like, I'm all in on one thing. Why? Why be all in on just one asset? I don't understand that. You must be spread out. You have to be, in my view. You have to be more or less diversified into things because, again, you can take advantage of things from many angles that way. But anyway, look, let them play their game. And we know they're playing a game. We're going to play our game too. It's just, that's where the opportunities are. If we understand that we're in an environment of parabolic inflation, the central banks are inflating on an epic scale. And, you got to take the opposite side of that trade here. There's going to be a moment when we do face, and this is going to be, again, and I've said this a million times, we're going to get a meltdown by design in this debt market. Debt market's going to sell off rapidly. I don't care. And it's going to be by a time of their choosing when they stop controlling the yield curve or something else happens like that. When that happens, you're going to get a lot of pressure on equities. Cash is going to just, it's not going to go to money heaven. It's going to look for avenues to go into. And I think it's going to go into commodities. I think it's going into cryptocurrencies. As long as they don't regulate it, I think we're going to get a massive spike here in gold and silver. And I think at one particular time, we're going to get, at least, I would say, and this might sound crazy to some people, a 1-to-1 Dow gold ratio.
Wow.
In other words, I really think, and it could be 2-to-1. I mean, who knows, really? I'm just kind of speculating here, but it's going to normalize. And then, of course, I think the gap between the gold and silver ratio is going to normalize too. I think it easily go to historical norm, which is what, around 15 or 17-to-1 or something like that. Where are we at now? I don't even know what it is because I don't pay attention because I don't care. I just know it's astronomical. It's like 90-to-1 or some obscene amount. It's out there. So again, look, this is where the opportunities are. So people should watch a show like this and smile because they learned a lot of things today.
Now, Jim, you got.
We'd actually like you to talk about your book if you could.
Oh yeah, talk about your book.
My book. Well, get it. I mean, I think I put a lot of stuff. I put a lot of work into that, but I don't know if you have a copy of it. But it really covers the gamut. It covers me. It covers how I got into this whole business. Many years ago, I was a kid, dumb kid, actually. At the time, did a lot of stupid things. I actually talk about it in the book. Got myself into a little bit of trouble, and I could have gone to jail, but that didn't happen.
Me too.
Look, it was a really long time ago, and it wasn't me who started it. Okay, it wasn't me. That's the truth. But I was just a dumb little naive kid, and I kind of got involved in a little bit of a front-running scheme, and everything was done on paper at that time. It was very easy to do, and everyone was doing it. And I was actually working as a broker without actually being a broker. I mean, it was an incredible situation. I was working under a broker who was the biggest penis in the face of the earth, quite honestly. But, I was working, I was acting as a broker, selling things I shouldn't have been doing. But I was told, hey, it's okay to do, but that wasn't the reason why I got in trouble. I mean, I got in trouble because we got caught doing, but everyone was doing it. It wasn't just our bank. It was other banks too. And we were on the phone with people. Oh, let's do this. Blah, 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 blah. We were openly talking about this stuff, So yeah, that's, I outline all that in the book. It's kind of interesting. And then I talk about how to understand the market, really how to capitalize on the market from a lot of different perspectives, either buying calls or puts or credit spreads or selling options onto the market and how to interpret the market. I think it's a great book. It's relatively short. It's right to the point. And it cuts through a lot of the garbage. Again, you buy like a book, you go to Barnes & Noble, you go to Amazon, 90% of that book is dog shit. It's just nonsense. I was like, I'm not writing a book that's dog shit. I want to write a book that's going to cut to the chase. Because what do people want to do that buy a book like this? They want to make money. I did give a little, history about myself, but I think a lot of people would find that interesting, especially people that follow my work. Anyway, that's it.
And then you also have your website, traderschoice.net.
My lovely website, traderschoice.net. Yeah, because I try to put as much stuff up there for free as people could want. I put up a chat room there. I got charts there, a stock screener there.
Nice.
It's all free. I got a cryptocurrency screener there. I hope people take advantage of it. There's all kinds of free downloads and stuff like that. And a lot of people use my website, gets a lot of traffic, and rightly so. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there, and a lot of it's 99% of it's free. The only thing I sell people is my book. That's it. The rest of it, just take it.
Take it. I personally subscribed to your newsletter, and I only got into Alibaba because of the newsletter. So that's one thing that I'm into. Jim, do you have any other questions for Greg?
Yeah. From Frankie416. During your time on Wall Street, which bank had the biggest scumbag traders, and why was it Deutsche Bank?
Look, actually at the time I had, like I said, this was a long time ago, and it was just, I don't even want to talk about it too much. I didn't mention in my book any other traders that were involved, and by name, and I didn't mention any of the banks that were involved. Some of those banks are still around today. All right. Bear is not around anymore. So, look, there was a lot of scumbag shit going on over there. It was all about making money. It's the only reason why people work on Wall Street is to earn money. They don't give a damn about nobody else. It's really the truth. Although there is a camaraderie. I'm not going to lie. That was the fun part of it, is being part of a group of guys who probably weren't doing something look, how I got introduced to that was kind of simple. Look, I had heard rumors that, maybe there was stuff going on. And I was broke. I was a flat broke kid. I was like, I want money. How can I get some money too? And, when I found out that what people were doing, and it was relatively simple to do, if you knew, for example, that a large order was going to come in on XYZ, now you got this in your hand, now you have power. You would say, well, I can jump in front of this trade if I want to. Wow. And that's what people were doing. I admit that I did it. A lot of people did it. I wasn't the only guy, and it doesn't make it good. And I guarantee you that's still going on today. I mean, look, you got these high frequency traders out here. What do they do? They put their servers. In fact, I cover this in the book. Why do they pay exorbitant fees to have their servers put right by the stock exchange so they could jump in front of the trade? There's computer software that can tell when a trade is executed. And the moment that it's executed, the closer you are to the exchange, you can jump in front of that trade. That's front running. It's going on today, people. Wake up.
That's wild. That's incredible. Lee, do you have another question for Greg?
At this point, I do not. He's talked about so much,
Yeah,
and I follow him every day, and I get his newsletter. So
now, you guys
appreciate
are really
it
great.
very
I
much.
would love to do this again soon. It's kind of excellent to be in this kind of like a scene like this. Usually it's never like this, but this is fun. So why don't we get together again? I don't know. You want to do next month one time, or the month after that?
Great.
We'd love. You're great to talk to, Greg. This has been really entertaining. I'm sure our viewers are going to love it. We'd love to have you back and let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, you've been
absolutely.
incredible.
So just shoot me an email or so. We'll get together on this in the future. Maybe we'll do, like I said, next month or so. And I'm sure we're going to have more stuff to talk about, more insane things, and maybe I'll have my head shaved at that point. I don't know.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much, Greg Mannarino, and thank you everyone from the Wall Street Silver community. Thank you, Jim Lewis. Thank you, Lee. But yeah, Greg Mannarino, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you a lot.
Appreciate you.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye now.
Good night.